this. Oh. Okie dokie. As you can see, this workshop is a mess. A big, big mess. How it ended up like this, I couldn't really tell you. What I do know is I should pay a little more attention to keeping it tidy as I go, because this is one messy workshop. I really wish I could tell you with a straight face that I was very organized and kept the place neat, kept my tools where they belong. It's just not the truth. Really, I'm utterly appalling at keeping the workshop in order as it is that I work on a project. Now, being appalling at keeping it tidy as we go is one thing, but, you know, having a good course of action for fixing it is another, which is exactly why I'm pleased to announce that I have no idea what is the best way to go about cleaning the workshop when it's in such chaos. The only thing I do know is that, as with most of the annoying things in life, they get done a little faster if you start. And I think I'm gonna start with the messiest part first, the grinding room. Yep, this is purgatory. First things first, blow it down with the air compressor. That took some doing. Okay, the grinding room's done. Just gotta sort these belts out, then we can do something else. I'm sweating. Whew. I started cleaning this morning, about 9 o'clock. It's 4:15 in the afternoon. Cleaning the workshop takes some time, but I tell you what, boy, does it feel good. The workshop is clean. Wow. Now, there are folks who have the discipline to keep their workshop in perfect condition, spending 15 minutes every single day to tidy it, and I have a great deal of respect and admiration for anyone who can, because that takes some real doing to keep at. But boy, would that be helpful. 15 minutes a day? Yeah. That'd probably save me a lot of time. Now, why would it be so beneficial to clean up just a little bit every day? Well, the reason is when you let it fester, you end up with a really startling amount of mess, where not only do you have to put tools back in the right place, but you've got to root through other tools and bits of chips and lathe chips and grinding dust to get to the tool to put it back in its place, instead of just taking the tool, putting it back in its place, and doing a light sweep. Keeping track of where your tools go, putting them back where they're meant to go every single day. Oh my goodness, do I wish that I had that degree of discipline. Because great, you end up with a workshop with tools nicely put where they are. You can work fast, grab things as you need them. You don't have to root through clutter to get them in the middle of your fast workflow. But this is hard work. It takes some doing. It's a little backbreaking at times, you know, you'll hurt yourself at times. You're getting dusty and grimy. It's work. Now, of course, you know, making stuff is a whole lot of fun, but there's also a lot of work involved with it. And so, as fun as it is, you still have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to help yourself enjoy the work. And you know, there is not a whole lot enjoyable about the mess that there was here at the beginning of the day. A mess really makes it a whole lot less enjoyable to work. And for goodness sake, especially if we're doing the work because we want to enjoy it, let alone if we're doing it because we have to, we might as well make it enjoyable. And let me tell you, it is an amazing feeling to stand in this workshop and know that if I want a tool, I can go right back to where it's kept and pick it up. I don't have to walk around the workshop 10 times to find it because it's in its place. There is an amazing feeling about being in a workshop where you don't have the crunch of debris underneath your feet every single place you walk. It is an amazing feeling being in a workshop that doesn't look like chaos, because when there's chaos in your work environment, it's pretty difficult to not allow chaos in your work. Now, I'm not saying this from any particular standpoint of real authority on the subject of keeping your workshop clean, because I'm terrible at it, as evidenced by the start of this video and the fact that it's now taken however many hours to get the workshop clean. The reason I'm saying it is because I know that every time I clean my workshop, rare as it is, it makes it so much more pleasant to come in and make stuff the next day. And that's really important. You know, I think a better way to help describe it to somebody like me, that I like working hard, I like doing the hard work, I take pride in the hard work. I find it easier to find motivation to work hard than to tidy up the workshop, because I can just do work and be productive. But there is something so nice about the tidy workshop, about the clean workshop, the organized workshop. There is something so nice about it that really, frankly, if you're doing the hard work, I think you probably deserve a tidy workshop. And I really think the tidy workshop should be treated as a treat, as a great luxury. Maybe that's how I need to describe it to myself. So, in short, I don't really want to say this, but I think I'm going to try and keep my workshop tidy. That doesn't feel good. I feel a little nervous. Oh my goodness. It probably means using a broom more than once a month. I think I probably should keep my workshop tidy. That's a tough commitment to make. I think with things like this, it's difficult. You sometimes got to trick yourself into doing, and I think the trick I'm going to play, as I said, is, hey, Alec, if you're working hard, I'm talking to myself here. This is my little internal dialogue. Alec, if you're working really, really hard, just stop 20 minutes before you plan to stop. Tidy the workshop so that tomorrow, when you're working really, really hard, you get a little kickback from the hard worker yesterday in the form of a clean workshop to enjoy working in. I think that could be a trick that could work. Maybe. I'm gonna try. But the other trick is, goodness, I'm gonna regret this. Got a lot of wonderful people that watch my videos here. You're one of them. Thank you for watching. If you see my workshop a mess, go ahead and drop a comment. Tell me the workshop's a mess. I would really appreciate that. A little peer pressure to keep things organized is never a bad thing. And if you have a dirty workshop right now, consider this my time of peer pressuring you into tidying your workshop, because you really, really, really should. You're gonna thank yourself for doing it. So go out and tidy your workshop, and then come back tomorrow when my workshop's a mess and tell me to tidy mine. Let's get some work done, why don't we? I've been given a little bit of a task. My father has asked me to make this. Very detailed instructions. I don't know what it's for, but it's a bit of steel that's bent, 30 inches long with some holes in it. I have no idea on hole placement. That's fine. We are gonna make a thing out of some steel. So we're gonna find some steel and we're gonna make it. So it calls for a 7-inch wide piece that's 30 inches long and then has a protrusion on the bottom. Let's see what it is that we have here. Now that is 29 inches long, 6 inches wide. That's probably pretty close. And then if we just find some other material to go on the bottom for the little foot, I think we'd be able to make do. Alternatively, now this is something that I don't particularly want to have to do, is I have some 8-inch wide material, but this has welds on it and concrete on it and stuff like that, and cutting and working and we'd have to cut all the way down with an angle grinder. That would be not fun. Hey, I'm all right, thanks. Can I make it 29 inches long, 6 inches wide? Okay, great. So the sizes aren't particularly important. It's just that you need a load of holes in it and it needs to be long and wide and bent. Okay, great. See you later. Okay, so this is gonna form the upright. Holes, 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 holes. That's great. Now we just simply need the bottom piece. So 6 by 6. 6 by 6 by hopefully 1/4 or 4 millimeters. What we will do is we will use some of this for the bottom piece. I'll be able to cut the bottom piece out of it, but it just means that we don't have to cut 30 inches off. Let's lay out what we need. This is a cold cutting saw that I was sent by Evolution a while back. Whoa, that's cool. It collects its own chips. I'll be able to clean that up in a few weeks. And I want to use this instead of an angle grinder because it doesn't create dust, it creates little chips like this. But at some point the cables got damaged. But we are going to do a little bit of wiring. So we got to strip some of these. No, it's non-disassemblable. But we can scavenge the fuse. I can't find a plug to put on the end of it because the one from it's molded. Aha! Oh, whoa, success. One of our lights had a faulty cable. That's expensive. And so, even though I'm not smart enough to stock up on plugs, we can use this. Let's unscrew this, unscrew these. We'll put these two in that hole. Get in there. Turn this up, turn that up. Give that a twist. Throw this back on there. Now we see if we electrocute ourselves. Yeah, that'll work. Look at this. I'm gonna put my tools back. Whoa, that feels weird. Whew. actually putting your tools back. What? What are you looking at that for? Oh, fine. Goodness gracious. No, we're getting work done. I'll clear that up later. There we go. We will take some of these. I don't like using tools like this. It's kind of scary. This is not a good thing to be using it on either. Right, let's try not to die. There's a thing on it. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Right, let's now try and make a cut that's actually 90 degrees instead of 65. You know what? 85 degrees? I'll take it. It's good enough for me. Ugly doggly. Let's do a little more cutting. So one of the reasons I didn't want to work with this plate is there's all this shmoo on it. And I only just remembered it. Because what it's doing is it's lifting up the sauce. I'm going to scratch that off. Put this back. Okay, just leave that there. Man, I hate having a conscience. Tidy up, Alec. That would be a great idea, Alec. Make a video about tidying up. Tell people you're going to tidy up. Yeah, great idea. Right, we need some holes in here. 1/2-inch holes. I wonder if I can use my mag drill. We don't have a plug on the mag drill. So it looks like, again, we're gonna get friendly with a screwdriver and some electric. Alright, let's put it back. I will get into the habit of putting things back. Alright. Let's see if it works. Okay. Oh! What is happening? No! Don't suck me in! No! Ah! Oh, I pressed the wrong thing. How about... Oh, phew! Woo! It worked. That black hole was a little bit daunting. Whoa! Okie dokie, so... okay, right, so that's 10.658. Let me note that down. And if we have a, right, 85.34. Oh, okay. And then naturally, yep, and, 345.63. Perfect. Right, let's drill some holes. Okie dokie. Right, so this is a Bailey Industrial mag drill, which they've very kindly sent me to use. And I'm quite the fan of mag drills. I don't do a whole lot of fabrication, but when I do, and I've got holes to do, I really like a mag drill. Because what you do is you switch a magnet on the machine, which means that it's tied to this piece. So you don't have to necessarily worry quite as much as you might otherwise in tying this piece down securely, because you have a very short distance between where it is tied to it anyway. From there, you then have a pretty decent speed, but it uses a special kind of drill. Let me drill a hole and show you. Rats, I wasn't recording. Anyway, it uses a special kind of drill. It's an annular cutter, so it only cuts around the periphery of a slug. It means you have to remove a lot less material, which means that it requires less power to cut it, and, of course, you imagine if you're cutting a massive hole, it saves cutting out probably 95% of the material. The difference between this and a normal twist drill is not quite as significant because, of course, as you saw, there's still a decent bit of material to cut compared to the actual hole. But when you look at the size that annular cutters can get to, you'll see why this is superior to a standard twist jobber style drill. And there go my nice chalk lines. On with the magnet, on with the drill, on with the cutting fluid. That fast, real time. So it's super efficient. And in fab shops, where every single minute is costing a lot of money to keep that shop open, and they need to produce parts as quickly as possible. A tool like this is super, super useful. I used to make a lot of Damascus steel rings, taught how to by Dave Lish. And since I didn't have powerful enough drilling equipment, I actually used a mag drill to drill the holes in the Damascus flat bar. I'd mount the Damascus to a table, I'd mount the mag drill above it, I'd pop some holes in the Damascus, and I went through a lot of cutters because those high-speed steel cutters didn't like the Damascus. Obviously, had I known more, I would have, or had I been able to afford it, I would have sought out some carbide cutters to be able to go through the hard material. They are a good tool to have. There are folks who, and I'm sure plenty of guys who have done this, are watching right now, and it's crazy for a person like me to imagine it, but you imagine being on a job site and you need to drill a hole upside down on a beam. Well, what they'll go ahead and do is they will be able to use a mag drill to do that, and they'll chain the mag drill up so that if the magnet fails, it doesn't fall on somebody, but they'll be using these things upside down, drilling holes, so it's a crazy bit of kit. Like, for example, this tiny little unit, it's rated for a 35mm hole, 50mm deep. It's incredible what they can do. I've drilled striking anvil holes with one of these in under a minute through 2-inch thick steel. A mag drill is one of my least used but favorite tools in the workshop. We'll deburr these real fast so nobody hurts themselves. Out of battery. Man, I keep kicking myself for not buying a spare battery. Let's put this back. Now, I haven't done this in a long time. I want to do some stick welding. Now, when I was a wee lad, 11 or 12, I think, I went into a welding store and spotted an old oil-cooled welder. And I remember my parents very kindly bought it for me. It was about $110. Now, I was rather into the craft of blacksmithing at that time. And I knew I needed to get into welding so I could build tools and what have you. And I remember using that 110 amp, it's an Oxford welder is what I had. 110 amp Oxford stick welder, and I would only be able to run off a 13 amp household fuse. I'd only be able to run a 2.5mm electrode, and I would just run bead after bead after bead after bead, and I'd be terrible at it. But I tell you, it has been donkey's years since I've done any stick welding. I think I was 16 when I got a MIG welder, and I tell you, I don't believe I have stick welded since then. Maybe 4 years of having not stick welded. Right, so how does the gas work with a stick welding electrode? 100 and let's say 125. We're gonna grind a little groove in here so we can get better penetration. So clearly it's been far too long since I've welded anything, because there was no need for me to grind that. Got a welder's magnet on the back. We'll give that a clamp. Let's see if we remember how to stick weld. Do you push or do you pull? Definitely pull, definitely pull. Goodness, it has been a while. Right, there we go. Okay, that's a little hot. Let's try 115. So much louder than TIG welding. Oh, no way! It's square! So another tack in the middle. Whoa, forgot how sensitive that is. Man, that's fun! Oh my goodness! It makes such a cool noise! I need to stick weld more often. That is super duper fun. So heating that up to weld it, and then it's shrinking afterwards, has brought this in. That 90 is too far in. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if a little weld from the backside will do the opposite. And if it doesn't, then we'll just hit it with a hammer. But it does! Woo! With fabricate! Oh, it didn't. There we go. Attaboy, that's what I'm talking about. All right, we gonna lay down some bead. We're gonna use a stick welder. We gonna welder. Hee-haw! This is so much fun that even if my welds look like chicken poo, I'm gonna be excited. Whoa, forgot how to end the arc. Got a little bubble there and a bubble there in the slag. That can't be good. But we'll see what it looks like. What do my welds look like after 4 years of no practice? Well, I have no idea. I'm certainly no authority on stick welding. What I do know is even 4 years ago when I was in practice, I'd get a nice number of bubbles like that I'd have to somehow cover up. But a little bit of undercut, good bit of undercut, which isn't good. Still a lot of undercut. Basically, there's a reason this isn't a welding channel. But It's a lot of fun. Let's weld this last little bit. In case you're not familiar and you want somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about to explain it to you, stick welding, different to TIG welding. TIG welding, tungsten inert gas. There is a tungsten electrode, and the arc goes between the tungsten and the workpiece, and you have an inert gas that fills the area so that the metal, what it is that you're welding, doesn't oxidize, so it can flow and what have you. Where here, with stick welding, we have a stick, and it's much more primitive because you have a stick and it has flux on the outside of it, and that flux, when it burns, it'll form this gaseous little surrounding of the weld and stop the oxygen from reacting with the metal, and then it forms that crust that you saw me chip off, which is called slag. Things that you probably already knew because you watch these videos. Oh well, till you guys didn't know what the difference was. It was for you. Here we go. Whoa! Ha ha ha! Ha! That's some messy welding. So I tried to fix the undercut and I got more of it. I'm just gonna slap a weld on the backside because it's good fun, I'm enjoying it. You may be asking, what is this? Well, I'm not really sure. What I think it is I think he has a post that has rotted and he needs to somehow secure it into the ground. I have no idea. I just got the drawing. 5 holes, 30 odd inches long, a little bend on it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 holes, 30 inches long with a little bit of a bend on it. So hopefully that works. If not, you're about to find out. And so, thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Certainly very different to the last quite a number of episodes that have caused the workshop to be so messy. Actually, no, it wasn't the project that caused the workshop to be messy. It was me being messy that caused the workshop to be messy. But we have the workshop clean. I have this ridiculous notion that I'm going to keep it clean. And of course, I'm going to be seeing you on the very next episode. Meanwhile, please do make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you're new. You drop a like down below. And of course, if you'd like to support the show, I would be thrilled if you'd grab yourself some merchandise, alecsteelshop.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon on the next episode. As always, please leave your project suggestions down below. Love reading them. And don't forget, alecsteelshop.com.